You're watching Pyro Media Network.
I could be running or I'm chasing you, but I won't. Cause I got better things to do. Rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door, I would be the richest girl alive. If you hadn't run away every time I asked you stay, you would sleep right next to me tonight. But you didn't know me, all you wanted was a game to play, and you couldn't handle that I had my ways. I found your magic and your side chicks, I'm always with this, it's a part of the game.
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. Alright, let's start the show.
Hey. Happy Friday, Junior. Woo! Friday, Junior. Yes. Hope all of you are doing well. My name is Nicole D. Vick. Almost Dr. Nicole D. Vick. We almost there. I'm going to talk to y'all about that in just a second because, baby, these last, I'm going to say, couple of weeks have been rough. I'm coming up on the rough side. That just hit me, right? I don't know why, but it did. Because I feel like I'm coming up somebody rough mountain. And I'm like, please, when am I going to be at the top and done and over this? Because the whole journey has been difficult, but it's like this last push has been like literally, y'all, listen, y'all, I be talking about pushing through. This has been an exercise in pushing through. Okay. And I'm gonna give y'all some more details in a little bit, but I hope all of you are doing super, super well. It is a beautiful time of year. It's springtime. We out here, the flowers is blooming and all that good stuff. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode with my friend Jenny McKinney. It's so funny. We've been friends for a very long time, and I swear we have started to look alike. I don't know if y'all picked up on some of those photos. I feel like we actually have started to look alike. It's so crazy. But I really appreciated her conversation around her journey into travel, right? So this month has been about travel as liberation. And how, she got interested in travel and now actually lives abroad most of the time. And I think one of the things, someone left a comment on LinkedIn, which I really appreciated, was like, I appreciate the candidness, right? Because for a lot of us, we see people living abroad in Mexico, in Ghana, and it looks glamorous. But my friend Jenny brought up like the real deal Holyfield, like, listen, sometimes the power go out and they don't tell you, you don't know when it's going to come back on. which can be hard, or hey, having to work from home and try to find a work from home job that's going to cover your expenses. It can be difficult. So I really appreciated that. And it was so nice talking to her. And as you all know, because we Black and we Black women, we had a conversation before the conversation and a conversation after the conversation. So we talked for a good long time. I think Zoom was tired of us. Like, can you get off of here, please? Because y'all talking too much. But we had to catch up, right? We had caught up with each other. So let me pivot and talk to you about school, baby. Well, one more thing before we get to school. One more thing. Yesterday, I was asked to be part of a book club. So there's an association at my job. I guess it's what you call an employee resource group, an ERG, but it's for the whole county system thing, and it's for the Black employees. So I could go and meet people from different county departments. And the president had the idea, or was prompted to do a book club. And she said, well, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna start with all the authors that I start with have to be county or government employees. And so the first one I went to was from a woman. I think she runs the child support office. And then they did my book next. And then they're going to try to, do more later. And let me just tell you, it was an amazing experience. We didn't do this one. We didn't do Triumph in the Trenches. We did this one, Pushing Through, Finding the Light in Every Lesson. And, sometimes you wonder, do people actually read the things that you write? Like, do people really read these things? Yes. The president ran the book club, and she had highlighted pages. She was like, on page 81, you said, and I'm like, oh, shit. What did I say on page 81? And she was like, what did you mean when you said that? And I'm like, wow. And it wasn't like she was interrogating me, but it was really, to me, like somebody actually took the time to read my words and found inspiration. And it was amazing to hear from a couple of things. It was really amazing to hear from the people in the room that were also government employees, and like, oh my gosh, what you experienced, I experienced too. I even got to share some of my research with them on my dissertation. They were like, well, what did you find? And I was like, oh, well, let me share. Let me share. And so it was really an amazing experience. And I'm grateful for those kinds of spaces where people are like, Nicole, what you have to say is valuable. And we want you to come and talk with us about what you are learning, what you're doing, why you wrote these books, what's happening next. So that was really, really fun. So I just wanted to share that with you and really express my gratitude, because they didn't have to. They could have picked any other book. They could have done anything else, right? And they were like, no, we're going to highlight the folks that are here and uplift their voices. So I thought that was really cool. All right, now let's talk about school. So dissertation, 5 chapters, okay? So what was going on with me was I have a chair and then there's a committee, right? So there's a dissertation chair who's like the lead. I'm responsible to do what she says, right? No, this chapter, you need to write this out some more, right? We need more information about these things. And then ultimately this dissertation, once she says good to go, it goes to the committee. They look at it and then we meet and I have to defend what I write. So I have to go in and say, this is what I wanted to study. This is what I studied. This is how I did it. And this is now what I found. And these are some recommendations, right? And I have to come to that space defending what I did. And then they say, girl, this is crazy. No, start over. They would never say that. I hope not. What they will say is, congratulations, Dr. Vick, da, 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 da. Then I cry and fall on the ground. Oh, thank you, that kind of thing. But in preparation for that, there's a lot of writing, there's a lot of editing, there's a lot of detail that has to go into these chapters. So I'll say chapter 1 is, hey, I'm gonna give you some background on what I think is happening with this problem that I want to study. Chapter 2 is, here's what the literature says about these things that I want to study. Chapter 3 is, here's how I'm going to study it. Chapter 4 is, hey, this is what I found. I talked to some people and this is what they said. Guess what they said? And then I write that out, and including quotes and all kinds of things. I'm looking at themes. What did they say? And then chapter 5 is, here's what they said connects to the literature. So they said this, that sounds like that. that I said in chapter 2 and make those lines, sort of connect those dots. Chapter 5 is also where I say, well, based on all of this, this is what you should do, or this is what the institution should do. So I'm doing this writing. I'm writing chapter 4. I'm like, oh, no. My chair says, it needs some work. Okay, fine. So she gives me some input. And I'm like, okay. And then as she was looking at chapter 4, I said, well, I'm going to start chapter 5. So I'm trying to start chapter 5. I'm needing her input. But guess what? It's the end of the year, the school year. Everybody is trying to defend before they graduate. So she has a whole bunch of people on her calendar that she's working with, that she's going into these meetings with to defend their dissertation. So I was scared that I wasn't going to meet my deadline that I had set for myself. She had suggested, Nicole, you should try to defend before you graduate, just for a mental thing. You can defend after; it's not going to kill. It's not the end of the world. But you probably should do it before, so then you graduate. And so we set a date for April 29th. And initially, I wanted to try to do it a week later, right? Literally the week of graduation. Nobody was available. My committee, nobody could make it. And I'm like, oh crap! So I had to do April 29th, which to me was early. I'm like, dang, now I gotta write like a Sonic the Hedgehog or something like that. Which literally I was doing, okay? Writing every single day, and then going to my classmate's house on Saturday, writing all day, and then going to the library on Sunday and writing all day. So I'll just say that I sent her chapters 4 and 5. And I said, you know what? If she says this back with a whole bunch of edits, I don't know I'm just gonna lay on the floor and it's all right. I want it to be Dr. Vick, but it's okay. That's how I felt. I said, if she's sending this back with all kind of edits, because sometimes there are a lot of edits. No, you need to flesh this out more. This is unclear. Well, I need you to do these things. So apparently I had figured out what I needed to do between the time she looked at chapter 4 and the time I started chapter 5. Do you know I gave her chapters 4 and 5 and she emailed me back and said, this is amazing. You put this together so well. I am always and continuously impressed by how you turn around and flip and get this out. She said, I have like this many suggestions on how to, make it just a little better. She said, but after that, send it to the committee. It's good to go. I had to call Andrea. Y'all know Andrea is my daughter. I know she don't know nothing about none of this, but I was like, I got to tell somebody because I was about to start crying. And I had to tell somebody like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make it. So I am on track to defend by April 29th. April 29th at 3:30, y'all. So write it down because I'm going to need all of everybody, hands in the air, like, oh, please help, because I have to go into that space and defend my research. And I'm excited, but of course, there's some nervousness. And then there's also this thing of, yes, I'll be done. And I don't know what, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. But yeah, so I just want to share that with you. A lot of you have chimed in, offered support, been helpful, been thankful, great, giving tidbits. Someone on TikTok saw a video I posted a while ago about coding, for chapter 4. And they were like, did you figure it out? Someone is also in school. They reached out and they wanted to know. So yeah, it's just been a wonderful journey. I love the support from my classmates, support from complete strangers on social media, support from other people that I know in other programs doing their dissertation. And it's been amazing. Latasha, a lot is an understatement. Oh, Lord. I was like, you know what? It's crazy. But to kind of answer the point about it being hard or difficult, one of the things I will suggest that if you are in a doctoral program or considering it, one of the things that is of benefit, 2 things: being in community, get with your classmates, you make friends for a number of reasons. I have a video on TikTok where I talk about that. The other thing is, when you're writing, the best thing to do is to look at someone else's dissertation, not to copy it, but to understand how it's kind of put together and what level of detail is needed for those sections. Because at least in my program, I don't feel like they did that. I don't think they did that for me well enough. but using someone else's and saying, oh, okay, I need to, in the intro, tell what I'm going to talk about. I need to explain in chapter 4 what questions I did ask, the participants, and then I'm going to walk it through. Those kinds of things I got from looking at someone else's that I already had defended some years ago, and it was really, really helpful. I think this is a good time to take a break. And when we come back, we'll bring our guest on. And yeah.
Elevate your entertainment with Watch Vim. Discover the ultimate online streaming destination. Get an auto-renewing monthly subscription for unlimited content on all devices. Join us in supporting a Black-owned streaming platform that brings top-tier entertainment. Let the streaming excitement begin at Watch Vim, your seamless experience for endless entertainment. Stream online or download the Watch Vim app now.
Are you ready for enlightening conversations that transcend boundaries? Get ready for Conversations with Clergy, brought to you by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network. In partnership with the world's largest publicly funded international collaboration, the HVTN is dedicated to evaluating vaccines to prevent HIV and COVID-19, but their impact doesn't stop there. The HVTN is at the forefront of advancing vaccinology, social and behavioral sciences, statistics, immunology, and even contributing to the research on tuberculosis and COVID-19 vaccines. By supporting Conversations with Clergy, the HVTN not only brings you thought-provoking discussions, but also contributes to the global effort to combat infectious diseases. Tune in, stay informed, and be a part of the change. Conversations with Clergy, supported by the HVTN, empowering conversations, empowering lives. Join us in this journey of knowledge, understanding, and progress. Conversations with Clergy, proudly brought to you by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network, because together we can make a difference.
Know that you can now catch the electrifying sounds of Bulletin Flight Radio anywhere you go? Yes, you heard it right. Tune in to the high-flying beats and soaring melodies by downloading the TuneIn app on your mobile device. Just search for Bulletin Flight Radio and hit play. It's that easy. And if you have a smart device like Alexa or Google, just say, "Hey Google," or "Alexa, play Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn." Experience the rush of adrenaline wherever you are. Listen to Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn using your Alexa or Google devices. Soaring through the skies has never sounded this good. Don't miss out on the ultimate musical journey. Tune in now to Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn and let the music take you on an unforgettable ride. Get ready to elevate your listening experience. Brought to you by Bulletin Flight Radio.
I always get caught dancing. Oh, real quick, I gotta tell you this too, y'all. So my daughter had one of those big giant speakers, when you have a party, like the big ones, and you take it outside and blast the music. I found it. And at first I couldn't find the plug, but I found the plug. I've been in here working from home, dancing, because I be having that thing on like 5,000. Child, party time. But it helps me work and stay focused. So I just had to share that because y'all saw me dance, and I just want to share that I for real be in here dancing like a crazy person. For some reason, too, a minute ago while I was working earlier, John Legend, and I don't even like John Legend, y'all. Green light was in my head and I had to hear it. So I turned it on and was in here singing, Give Me the Green Light. I don't even know why, but it just popped in. I think because I'm so musically inclined, it's stuff like that just happens. Anyway, y'all. And I know it ain't just me. So stop acting like it's just me because I know it ain't. Pivoting to the topic of the night. So this month we've been focusing on travel as liberation. I told y'all our ancestors, our first journey here was by force. And so travel was not a thing, right? Because we weren't even. And so I feel like now, today, we can now travel and use that as a way of liberating ourselves. We're going to talk about a different kind of travel and a different kind of liberation tonight, a little bit of a diversion, but at the same time, kind of not really, though. I've talked a lot about my latest publication, Triumph in the Trenches, as the green book for Black working people. And it's supposed to help people navigate through the workspace. But sometimes navigating through the workspace also means navigating up out of the workspace. Like I got to get out of here. And tonight's guest is going to hook us up on some good information. She has an event coming up. So we just going to bring her on. Dr. Kimani Norrington.
Hey! It's so good to see you.
Likewise. So I didn't introduce you yet, so let me introduce you. Okay. Dr. Kimani Norrington-Sands, also known as Dr. Kimani, is a licensed clinical psychologist in California. As a Spelman College alumna, Dr. Kimani focuses on supporting individual and collective healing, so important, so that clients can live a fulfilled life. She draws upon her own healing journey, as well as professional work to provide a range of services, products, including the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women and the Black Women Healing from Toxic Jobs coaching program for Black women who are interested in developing an exit plan. So remember I said, now this book I wrote, or it was part of this anthology, is about navigating in the workspace, but sometimes, baby, you got to navigate up out. It's like, you got to go. And that's okay. And so I'm really happy to have you here. Now, how did we meet? I came on your podcast.
Right. Oh, you know what? I think you had posted something on LinkedIn. Yes, you posted something on LinkedIn and I reached out to you and you graciously agreed to come onto my channel and we talked at length. We talked about psychological safety and all those other things. And we just been staying in connection.
Absolutely. And I think for me, what my angle is a lot of times when I hear about psychological safety and all those kinds of things, it's always corporate. It's always the people that work in the corporate offices and the for-profits. And I'm like, it's a whole bunch of government people that is struggling. And it even sometimes is worse in my eyes. And of course, you know, I have my own biases and on this thing. In my eyes, it's even worse because some of these organizations have equity in their mission and vision statements, and they're we care about the people, and I'm like, do you? Because you don't care about
and which people do you care about? Yourself? Is that it? Right? Yes. And they're supposed to be about social services, but they're harming the very people who are doing the work, and then we're still tasked to do the work. Crazy making.
And then at the same time that that's happening, they're also harming the community. Oh, no, we're helping. Are you? Right. So it's wild. And I know, you know, I've talked to you about my research. I'm so excited because I'm about to defend this thing.
Yes, I cannot wait.
I plan to publish. I'm like, people need to know what's going on. And we need to do more work on this. So before we dig into the main reason of this conversation today, I want to ask you. So my whole idea for this month was travel as liberation. I feel like, again, our ancestors came here. They didn't have a choice for international travel. They just was put on a boat and they came over here against their will. But now in this day and age, we can use travel as a way to free ourselves, learn, explore, rest. How has travel, in general terms, have you been out of the country? How does that work for you?
Yes. Well, most recently, I went to Turks and Caicos in January. Yes, I posted that on my YouTube channel. And that was a dream of mine for so many years. I wanted to go to Turks and Caicos, couldn't afford it, all of the kind of stuff, right? But after I left that toxic job, after I resigned and have multiple streams of income, we were able to go to Turks and Caicos, and it was gorgeous. And it just reminded me of what is possible, right? So when you're in a toxic job and it just feels like so just dark and just helpless and hopeless and all, I was like, oh, I ain't never getting to Turks and Caicos. But I was able to go in January, and now I'm like, I need to go back and do more travel. But it is very liberating, and to be able to just rest.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love how you weaved in those two things that we're going to talk about tonight. I mean, the travel, but then, hey, once I stepped away from a thing that I thought that I had, or I felt obligated to continue, once I let go of it, more opportunity came in. You were able to travel once you let go of the job.
Exactly.
And I think there is something
pursue a dream, right? Pursue a dream that I wasn't able to access before.
That I think is amazing. And I think, and we can talk about this a little bit before we kind of get into the conference that you're going to run. I think for a lot of Black women, that fear holds us so, it has us in a chokehold. And rightfully so. I don't want to trivialize that fear because I think it's real. We have families, we have children, us are single, and there is nobody, there's no backup, right? So we feel like we have to stay in this space. But what my research has taught me, so see, now I feel important now. I'm almost a doctor, so me, I can speak in this way. I'm like, my research has taught me that there is no safe space for Black people. There's no safe space for Black women, and definitely not at work. Work is not a safe space for us. So it's like, we're afraid of what, really? Because all of this stuff is hurting us. So I don't know. I don't know if you have any thoughts about all that I just said.
Absolutely. And first of all, I can't wait till you graduate, and I can't wait to read your dissertation. But I think what happens for many of us as Black women is that we delude ourselves in believing that the workplace is stable. And it's not stable, number one, because layoffs can happen anytime. The second thing is we lie to ourselves and say, well, all jobs are toxic. All jobs are bad. I'd rather stay with the devil I know than the devil I don't know, right? That's not true either. Not all jobs are toxic. And don't lie to yourself and say you want to know a devil, right? Like, no, that doesn't work. The third thing is, I think sometimes we're confusing what's familiar to us with comfort. Okay. So if you're in a workplace where you're being disrespected, you're being demeaned, there are no opportunities for you to grow, so many different things that happen to us in the workplace, that is not comfort. That is familiar. You're familiar with it. And to say, just as our ancestors weren't able to travel, we have more freedoms. So we have options. So when Black women say, I got to stay at this job because I need to pay my bills, I say, I hear you. We all need to make money. But are there other places where you can work? Are there other ways for you to make money? So can you get a different job? Can you do a side hustle? Can you start your own business? What are your other options? That particular job is not the only place where you can make money. And that's the part where we need to break out of that perception, because so many of us believe that because of the fear, that the fear got, like I said, the chokehold on us, right?
Definitely has a chokehold. I think the other thing we also lie to ourselves about, and maybe not so much, but what came to my mind as you were talking was, I think we also feel like, well, if I just work harder, more degrees, and here I am getting a degree, but we do that. We'll prove ourselves and we'll get there.
No.
And again, research tells me, critical race theory tells me, that's a myth. That meritocracy, that fairness is all a lie.
And I think many times it's for us as Black women, because we're the most educated in the nation, that we say, oh, okay, I'll just get another degree. I think sometimes the higher we go, the more venom that we are targeted, right? People are intimidated by us. All these other things happen because of their deep insecurities. So we encounter that. We might be thinking that, but we might be more at risk the higher we go.
Yeah, I agree. So there's so many things to really seriously consider if you're in the workplace. And again, not to trivialize, because all of us can't leave, right? Some of us have to just make some decisions. But if you feel like it's time to go, I think Dr. Kimani is the person that you need to be in conversation with. Can you talk to us about the event, the work that you're doing, all the services you offer?
Yes. So I am a toxic job survivor, but now I'm a toxic job liberator, right? So I used to work for the second largest school district in the nation for about 13 years as a clinical psychologist. And I resigned because it was too much. It was just too much toxicity. It was harming me physically and psychologically. And from that, I started a YouTube channel, Lifting Us We Climb Consulting Wellness Services, where I initially started it to just talk about my own healing, because I knew at the toxic job, I had taken a leave of absence when I started the channel. And I knew they were trying to silence me and degrade me and humiliate me. So I was like, okay, part of my healing is I'm going to get louder. Okay, so I'm going to go talk about it on YouTube. And then Black women started reaching out to me from around the world. And that really informed my work, because I had no idea how many Black women are in a toxic job around the world. And it's a similar dynamics. It doesn't matter what the profession, where you are in the world, similar dynamics. Okay, but the main point is it's harming us. So I am a therapist, but I'm also a coach. So I coach Black women in leaving toxic jobs. And I always say on my YouTube channel, any work that I do, I don't tell any Black woman to just up and leave their job, right? Unless you're in immediate danger, physically and or psychologically. You're about to have a nervous breakdown, go, sis, okay? But if you're not, I work with Black women about how to come up with an exit plan. But part of the exit planning is also walking through the fears of leaving, because we have so many fears. And I remember the fears. So I work with Black women about that. And so now I'm launching the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women, which is May 18th and 19th. And that summit, 2 days, it provides an opportunity for Black women to walk through the mental roadblocks that keep you at the job, the fears. Also talks about the impact of being at the toxic job. You talk about working harder. That's part of burnout, right? So you'll be able to learn more about burnout, how a toxic job impacts your mental health, and how to reconnect to your dreams and joy that you previously had that maybe the job was sucking out of you, okay? That's the first day. The second day, we're going to talk about discrimination, severance, right? What to do if you're in that situation. We're also going to talk about ways to replace your income, which is so important. So how to get remote work, how to get a contract or freelance job, how to create a side hustle, how to create your own business. And then we're going to end it off with a financial psychologist, a Black woman financial psychologist who I actually work with. So she helped me get my money right so I could leave the toxic job. So she is ending it off, talking about our financial plan. And there's 3 tiers to the summit. So the top tier, you get an extra masterclass with Dr. Roche Brown, who's a financial psychologist, particularly if you're trying to leave within the next 6 months to a year to really get your financial plan together. So the Job Liberation Summit is to really help Black women prepare to get ready. Again, not telling anybody to abruptly leave, but I want to give you the resources about how you prepare yourself to get ready to leave. And because we know as Black women that we have to be very mindful of people getting our business, that none of the participants will have nobody will be on camera except for the speakers, okay? So none of the participants will be on camera. Nobody's names will be listed. If people have a question or a comment, they can change their name in a platform. So we really want to honor your privacy as well.
I think this is so important. And you kind of touched on this a little bit. Who is this for? Is this for the person that is trying to leave within 6 months to a year? Is it someone, say, okay, I'll use myself. I will be eligible to retire in 4 years. Am I going to stop working in 4 years? At that place, yes. There's other things, So is it for me that's thinking, well, let me start to chart out, 2028 and beyond? Who is this really for?
Yeah, it's for wherever you are on the continuum, okay? So it's for all Black women who are starting to think, I want to leave this job. So it might be your job is toxic and or you're outgrown it, or you're going to be retiring. Okay. No matter where you are, for me, I always like to be prepared, right? So even if it's 4 years out, the Job Liberation Summit is going to give you the tools so you'll be better prepared for when you actually leave. And it's for Black women who are like, I don't know, I'm starting to think I don't like this job, like that very beginning to, I dread waking up because of this job and I'm crying on my way to work, right? Just tell me what to do. So even Black women who've already left their job, they can still benefit from being in the summit. So it's for the gamut of Black women. It's for Black women.
Perfect. That's perfect. And one more question, because again, as you're talking, stuff is coming up for me. And I know you talked through like the 2 days. Is there any conversation in that for the person, and I'll point to myself, who I don't necessarily feel attached to my job in a sense, in that sense, but I feel like I feel very closely aligned with it because I went into this field for a very specific reason. Is there any conversation or is there going to be any work around giving yourself permission to let go of that? Because I feel like for me, there's this thing that I feel like I have to do to myself and say, I have to give myself permission to be okay with it not happening the way I want. I have to literally tell myself, Nicole, it's okay. And I just wonder if there's that too. Like, it's okay to say goodbye to this.
Yeah, that's how it's going to be kicked off. That's how the summit's going to be kicked off. Talking about job detox. Okay. So Stephanie Perry, she's on YouTube. She's coming out with the book, Job Detox. That's part of the mindset. So we're going to kick off the whole summit with that.
Wow. Okay. Well, you done answered all the questions. This is exciting. And can you tell people how to access or how do they go? Where do they go to get more information about this event?
Yeah. So there's a registration link, and early registration ends tomorrow. So if you want to save some money, I would suggest you get in before early registration ends. Okay. But you just click the link, it has information about the summit, and you could just register from there as well.
Yay. And I do have an affiliate link. Am I supposed to share that link? I'm supposed to share it with people, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes. So I will be sharing that because what I'm going to do is what I usually do is the next day after this airs, because it's airing right now, it's live, but tomorrow I'll usually share a snippet. I'll make sure that link is in that snippet, and I'll make sure I post it early enough so people have time to use it as they go ahead and pay. I'm like, wait a minute, I might need to be there myself. If I feel like I need to be there.
I think you do. I think you do. Just a little biased, but I think you do.
This has been amazing. So and I knew this was going to happen. We're already at the end of the podcast, the video podcast already, but you have already shared so much valuable information. And again, I think this was really cool. I came on your show. I was in one space, right? I don't even think I had really started my research yet. And now we're here. You have this actual thing to offer to people. I have finished my research and I'm like, yep. You talked about silencing. There was something that I found as a theme in my participants, self-silencing. Black women specifically self-silence. Because for one thing, we've done it historically to save ourselves, right? During slavery, be quiet. But I think in the workspace, it's like, well, first of all, what I say, that nobody cares. They're not going to do nothing. So why say anything? But it's a way to just be like, let me just be quiet and preserve myself. So that was really interesting even to see that. And to hear someone say, well, you know what? I might as well just shut up and suck it up.
Oh, the sucking it up. I call it like you're swallowing your pride, right? I heard a Black woman say, I bite my tongue so much at this job, my tongue is going to break off in my mouth. Right? So just think about how many times we dim our lights, or we might stay silent because people steal our ideas and try to say it's theirs too.
Like, you ain't came up with that. No. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. Where you ever
Thank you. Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Kimani, for coming on. We might think it's going to bring you back. I mean, maybe after, you know what? Maybe after the event, if people, to your point, because you're not going to record people, but maybe if there is 1 or 2 people that were there that would like to share with it, I don't know. I think there's room for that. Even if it's not my podcast, maybe yours. But I feel like we want to bring that around full circle for people.
Yeah.
And
I think it'll be a good opportunity too, because at the end of the summit, we're going to launch our group coaching program again. And then we're also going to have another round of our job liberation community. So this is for Black women to get support as they're moving through the journey, but you'll have a community of Black women to hold you accountable, to share resources with you, so we can share more information about that. And if there's Black women right now who are watching this and they're like, the summit seems cool, but I need more support, you can contact me for coaching individually, so one-to-one coaching as well.
Perfect. And will you be doing this again? Is this a one-time thing, or are you going to do this every year, every 6 months?
It's going to be an annual thing. Yes, it's going to be. It's the first one.
Awesome. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we're going to get some people in that space because a lot of us need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We're about to close on out. Thank you, Dr. Kimani, for being here. All of you know you can find me on my social media channels. On most of the time nowadays, I'm nowhere because I'm trying to get this thing done with this dissertation in this school. But LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, I'm usually there. I'm still posting my nail looks now. I do keep my nails together if I do nothing else. You can find me on all my social media channels. Don't forget, on my website, www.NicoleDVick.com. I got all the bookies. I have Pushing Through, my first one. I have my second one, Push Through, the guided journal. And then my newest one, Triumph in the Trenches. You can check those out on my website. I think that's all I have, y'all. Share this video. This is wonderful information, important information, life-saving information. I'll be posting a snippet up tomorrow with my affiliate link, so you can go ahead and apply or pay for your ticket that way. All right, y'all. I'll see you next week. Thank you again, Dr. Kimani. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.